If you have scanned your vehicle and found code P00AB, you are dealing with a range or performance issue on your Bank 2 intake air temperature sensor. This is slightly different from a complete circuit failure because the sensor is still talking to the computer, but what it is saying does not make sense. Essentially, the powertrain control module is seeing the air temperature change way faster than is physically possible. The IAT sensor is a resistor that changes its value based on heat. Cooled air equals high resistance and high signal voltage. Warm air equals low resistance and low signal voltage. The computer expects these changes to be gradual as the engine warms up or as outside air enters. Code P00AB triggers when there is a massive jump in the signal in a split second, which indicates an intermittent glitch rather than a total failure. Bank 2 is the side of the engine opposite cylinder number 1. You likely will not feel any symptoms while driving, since this is often an intermittent issue, but your check engine light will definitely be on. The causes here are usually a failing sensor that is acting erratic, a loose electrical connection that vibrates while you drive, or damaged wiring that touches ground occasionally. Start your diagnosis by clearing any other codes first. Then use a scan tool to look at the live data with the key on and engine off. Compare the intake air temperature reading to the coolant temperature reading on a cold engine. They should be nearly identical. If they are different, you might have a bad sensor. The best trick for this code is to use the freeze frame function on your scanner. This records the data exactly when the error happened. If the freeze frame shows the temperature was -30 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment of failure, you had a momentary high-resistance spike, likely an open circuit or a loose plug. If the freeze frame shows an extreme high of 250 degrees Fahrenheit or more, you had a momentary low-resistance spike, which usually means the signal wire shorted to ground. To test the sensor itself, remove it from the car. Connect your multimeter to the terminals to measure resistance. Now, use a hairdryer to gently heat it up and then put it in the freezer to cool it down. Watch the numbers on your meter. They should scroll up and down smoothly like a volume dial. If the numbers jump around or skip, the sensor is bad inside and must be replaced. If the sensor tests fine, put it back in and watch the voltage on your scanner while you wiggle the wiring harness and connector. If wiggling the wires causes the voltage to spike on the screen, you have found a broken wire or loose pin that needs repairing. Since this code monitors performance over time, if you cannot replicate the issue with these tests, it might be worth simply replacing the sensor, as they are inexpensive, or checking for older, brittle wiring insulation. If the wiring looks like a rat's nest or you cannot interpret the multimeter data, save yourself the headache and visit a shop.